Breaking tonight, the violent scene at a Tacoma, Washington high school. Students stabbed on campus and rushed to the hospital. What happened? The new details just coming in. 4 kids and a security guard injured. The school placed into lockdown. The chaos inside as parents wait anxiously for word on what happened. Also tonight, the massive house explosion caught on police body cam. Those officers sent flying. The house blown apart, erupting in flames. The injured officers then rushing to pull victims out. One man still unaccounted for. Did he set it all off? New images just in. The moment the man who attempted to assassinate the president charged through the metal detector, a gas mask, and hollow point bullets inside his backpack the night of the attack. Also breaking, dramatic reversal. Camp Mystic says it will no longer reopen this summer after last year's deadly floods. How outraged parents of the 27 people killed stopped the reopening. Our series, The Cost of Denial, the hospital worker with a hole in her heart, insurance denying the potentially life-saving heart surgery she needed. What happened after our reporter investigated her case? This just in, Britney Spears officially charged with a DUI after she was arrested. What police say they found on her. Trapped in a claw machine. How did this toddler get stuck inside, and how did first responders get him out?
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
And good evening. We are tracking breaking news as we come on the air right now. A violent attack at a Washington State high school. This is the scene outside Foss High School in Tacoma right now. The campus on lockdown after a stabbing rampage. Here's what we know at this hour. At least 4 students stabbed, a security guard wounded. 5 people have been taken to nearby hospitals, and police say the suspect is in custody. A wave of students, you see them here walking out of the school as police move in. Liz Kreutz joins us now. And Liz, this happened during the school day?
Yeah, Tom, that's right. Tacoma first responders say they were called to Foss High School at around 1:30 p.m. Pacific time after reports that 6 people, including 4 students and 1 security guard, were injured in a stabbing at the school. Tacoma Fire tells our NBC affiliate King that 5 people have been transported to local hospitals. 4 of those, they say, are in serious or critical condition. 2 of them have non-life-threatening injuries. Tacoma PD tells us that one of those people is considered the suspect and is now in custody as they receive medical care. Student witnesses are coming out and speaking to media. They say the stabbing appears to have stemmed from some kind of fight at the school. Police are at the school right now where they've been conducting a search of the campus. It is on lockdown. We've seen video of students streaming out of the building. They've been evacuating, and there's a really heavy police presence at the school right now as concerned parents have been rushing to the campus to reunite with their kids, Tom.
And we hope those students and that security guard recover. Liz, we thank you for that. We want to show you some dramatic video now, up close with the NYPD as officers, moments before they're launched into the air as a house explodes in front of them. The body cam video shows police responding to a domestic dispute in Queens when they're blown off their feet. Emily Aketa with that video tonight.
Tonight, heart-stopping video of a New York City house explosion. NYPD officers seen here trying to enter this home, responding to a domestic dispute before the unthinkable, violently thrown off their feet and into the fence.
Yo! You all right?
Injured officers then rushing back into the chaos to pull crying young children from the rubble. The blast sparked a 5-alarm inferno that spread throughout the 3-family residence, according to officials. Angelica Castellar lived on the top floor with her kids.
I thought we got bombed. I looked in the kitchen area. I saw my microwave. The flames was literally rising up.
Ladder trucks reaching into neighboring homes as 300 first responders battled extremely dangerous conditions. Police have been responding to a 911 call shortly before 3 a.m. involving an intoxicated man armed with a knife. Investigators say 50-year-old en route Parasram forced his way into the basement where relatives lived.
They said he threatened them with a knife and was carrying 2 garbage bags containing yellow canisters with contents unknown.
Sources familiar with the matter say investigators are looking into whether the suspect doused the house with gasoline and ignited the fire. A neighboring home security camera capturing another view. First, you hear the blast before officers are seen scrambling to safety. Remarkably, all of the residents in the now incinerated home made it out.
I want to be clear. We got very lucky today. All right, this could have turned out really differently.
And incredible, those officers jumped into action after surviving that explosion. Emily, I know you have some new reporting tonight on the suspect.
Tom, that's right. Investigators combing through the rubble. That excavator is now where the home once stood. We're learning the suspect did have a documented history of domestic violence, and sources familiar with the matter say that while he's unaccounted for, they did recover a body on the scene here. We are still awaiting official identification. Tom?
Emily Aketa for us tonight. Emily, thank you. We have chilling new images just into our newsroom tonight of the moment the suspect in the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting charged through the magnetometer. It comes as the Secret Service director says he wouldn't change anything about the security set up that night. Kelly O'Donnell has the latest.
New details tonight about the suspect and the exchange of gunfire outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And just released additional crime scene images. Officials say the suspect had a respirator and ammunition labeled hollow point.
All the evidence that I've seen, the suspect shot our officer point-blank range with a shotgun. Our officer heroically returned fire while being shot point-blank range in the chest with a shotgun and was able to get off 5 shots.
Also new, the director said Allen had been wearing a protective vest.
It appeared that there was some type of tactical vest that he was wearing. So those officers again bravely removed that clothing to ensure that he did not have any other devices on him.
The ballroom incident raised alarming questions about safety with so many high-level government officials in the same packed space. But Director Curran says the security plan was, in his judgment, perfect.
The site was set up perfectly. I will tell you, I would not change the site again.
However, President Trump today expressed concern that the would-be attempted assassin had access to the building as a hotel guest.
You know, when you have 1,000 rooms sitting on top of a ballroom and you have the elevators coming down right near the entrance, it's a pretty tough situation.
I was in court today as Cole Allen, dressed in orange, appeared in federal court. That hearing determined he will remain in custody, facing charges including attempted assassination of the president. Tom?
Kelly O'Donnell with those new pieces of evidence. Kelly, we thank you for that. Now to a major reversal in Texas. Camp Mystic, where 25 young campers and their counselors died during flooding last July, announcing it will not reopen this summer. It comes as that part of Texas once again faces potential flash floods tonight. NBC's Priscilla Thompson has the latest.
Camp Mystic abandoning plans to reopen next month, just steps from the Guadalupe River camp, where in July, 25 young campers and 2 counselors died. Telling families that after thoughtful prayer and careful reflection, it will not welcome campers to its Cypress Lake site. The reversal comes just days after a grueling state hearing where lawmakers press camp leaders about reopening.
If y'all are left as an operator in any form or fashion, what deterrent does that send to another operator that I can have kids die on my watch and still be an operator?
The camp's 2026 emergency plan received a letter from the state outlining 22 deficiencies. Still, with more than 800 campers already enrolled, camp leaders appeared determined to return.
And we believe if we do it right, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, they will be glad that we had camp this summer.
That infuriated parents who lost their children that night.
Do not ever tell our families that one day we will be happy that you opened camp this summer.
I am heartbroken that you have not only destroyed our lives, but that you've destroyed your own, as well as taken away every beautiful memory and magic of Mystic.
Camp Mystic now saying they have heard the concerns expressed by grieving families and that respect for those voices requires that we step back now. Voices like the father of 8-year-old victim Mary Grace Baker.
It's just another chapter in what has been the most horrific chain of events that I think any human could ever have to experience.
Priscilla Thompson, NBC News.
So crushing to hear from all those families. We have more news out of Washington tonight. President Trump signing a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security after a surprise breakthrough on Capitol Hill, bringing an end to the record-long partial government shutdown. And this just breaking moments ago, a big development on the U.S. war with Iran. Ryan Noble's tracking all of it. Ryan, what do you know?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. The White House had a deadline to get approval from Congress to continue their military action against Iran. But instead of taking that step, a senior administration official tells NBC News that for war powers resolution purposes, the hostilities that began Saturday, February 28th have terminated. Now, that same official pointing to the 2-week ceasefire that began on April 7th and has since been extended. Now, even though that ceasefire is in place, the U.S. continues an active naval blockade of Iranian ports, and the Iranian regime continues to control access to the critical Strait of Hormuz. Now, Democrats and Republicans have argued that Congress needs to play a greater role in overseeing the war effort, but Republican leaders in both the House and Senate have resisted calls to pass a resolution authorizing the use of military force. Tom?
Okay, Ryan, thank you. History was made in the air today and on the ground. The first commercial flight in years to leave the U.S. and land in Venezuela. It signals a major commercial and diplomatic change for the two countries, but also an extremely emotional moment for families returning home. George Solis takes us inside that first flight.
Moments after touching down in Caracas, the captain of this American Airlines flight leaned out the cockpit to wave the Venezuelan flag, signaling the first direct arrival from the U.S. in 7 years. Passengers stopping for selfies on the stairs, descending to a crowd waiting on the tarmac. The journey began just after 10 a.m. in Miami, where emotional passengers lined up at the gate.
The last time I was here in Venezuela was 18 years ago, and I'm very excited to go and see the family.
The flight crew opening the windows to wave the U.S. and Venezuelan flags, then taxiing through a water cannon salute before takeoff. This flight, the most visible sign yet of a rapid diplomatic thaw following the ouster of Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro, in January. The U.S. ban on direct air travel, in place since 2019, was officially lifted just 2 weeks ago. In South Florida, the heart of the Venezuelan diaspora, some are still cautious. Venezuela remains under the control of acting President Delcy Rodriguez, who served as Maduro's right hand for years, and hundreds of political prisoners remain behind bars.
Things that still need to happen for me to feel safe to go to Venezuela.
Despite the uncertainty, for those landing in Caracas today, 7 years of grounded hopes finally coming to a historic end.
I'm taking my family back, my kids back, my grandkids back, so it's a historic day.
George Solis, NBC News, Miami.
And when we return in 60 seconds, our series, The Cost of Denial. The woman with a hole in her heart, but insurance wouldn't pay for the surgery her doctor said she needed. What happened after NBC News got involved? That's next. We're back now with our series, The Cost of Denial, where we investigate the challenges people face with insurance. Tonight, how a hospital employee fought back after her heart surgery was canceled 2 days before it was supposed to happen. Here's Vicki Wynn.
This is not supposed to be flapping around like that.
46-year-old Amy Wodel of Hamilton, Ohio, has a hole in her heart the size of a grape. Amy's official diagnosis, an atrial septal defect.
I could have a stroke at any time. I can develop right-sided heart failure. I can develop pulmonary hypertension, which is an irreversible damage to the heart and lungs.
What is it like living with that knowledge that if this isn't fixed, you could die?
It's terrifying.
Amy rarely leaves her home. It's too much for her heart.
You never had trouble climbing stairs before?
No.
Her mom, Deborah Ann, is often by her side because of fainting spells, shortness of breath, and unpredictable weakness.
I'm almost afraid to do anything. I'm short of breath all the time anyway, but I'm scared now.
Lucky for Amy, she works as a medical assistant at the Christ Hospital in Cincinnati. Doctors there recommended a robotic heart surgery.
Of course, I work in cardiology. I know it's going to be fine. But my brain immediately goes to like, well, what if it doesn't restart?
But on Christmas Eve, 2 days before her surgery was scheduled, Amy was told it was canceled. The reason? Insurance had denied coverage, saying it wasn't medically necessary.
Is this a situation where you feel like your insurance failed you?
Absolutely. I was like, what am I even paying for?
Amy's story is unusual. She's both a patient and an employee at the Christ Hospital. She gets her insurance through the hospital, the plan administered by United Healthcare. The hospital surgeon was telling Amy she needed an operation on her heart, while the hospital's insurance said no, she didn't. Amy appealed the decision twice. Both times she was denied. She then asked for an independent medical review. United Healthcare says the denial was upheld and the review complete. But the next day, we asked about Amy's case. That same day, United says the independent medical reviewer talked with a doctor at the Christ Hospital. The company denies the discussion was prompted by our questions, but 2 days later, they approved Amy's surgery. Amy's hospital wouldn't comment for this story. United Healthcare told us, we encourage all members to utilize the appeals process if they receive an initial decision they do not agree with. And in this case, the process resulted in an approval. We wish Ms. Wodel a speedy recovery.
When I finally got the letter, I felt such relief because I was like, this is actually going to happen.
Amy finally underwent surgery on March 16th. 80 days after it was initially scheduled.
You're going to get to enjoy the dogs and the snow.
She says she feels like a different person and learned this lesson.
If your physician has said that you need something that is medically necessary, if a surgeon has said that you need something that is medically necessary, and your insurance is saying no, keep fighting.
Keep fighting. You heard it right there. Vicki joins us now live in studio. So, Vicki, she finally got the surgery, but the delay really cost her.
Very costly, Tom. Yeah, last year, Amy had already reached her deductible. So if she had the surgery as scheduled in December, it would have been covered. Instead, her deductible reset this year, so she had to pay thousands of dollars, an extremely costly delay.
All right, great work by you and the team on this one. We thank you, Vicki. We're back in a moment with the close call as a child tries to board a school bus in the early morning. Wow. Plus the arcade game that was no laughing matter, how this kid got stuck inside and how they finally got him out. That's next. Welcome back. Some scary moments on the roads. In Florida, a close call as a child tries to get on the school bus. Watch this. You see the child, their image is blurred, crossing the street in the morning darkness when the sheriff says a driver illegally sped towards the stopped school bus. It's a really close call, and the driver nearly clipped the child. The driver was ticketed for that. And this just in, pop star Britney Spears has now officially been charged with DUI. Last month, she was arrested in California. Her representatives called the incident, quote, completely inexcusable, adding that hopefully this can be the first step in a long overdue change that needs to occur in Britney's life. She has since checked herself into a treatment facility. And it was a tense moment at a Madison, Wisconsin ice cream parlor when a toddler got stuck in the shop's claw machine. Firefighters responded to the scene to find the young child among the stuffed animals, visibly distraught. It took about 2 minutes for authorities to rescue the kid, who is assumed to have crawled in through the prize retrieval slot somehow. Luckily, both the toddler and the claw machine sustained no damage. That's Nightly News for this Thursday. I'm Tom Llamas. Thanks so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.